But anyway, but while it's running, while it's going, that was the first thing we saw. We're going to see a contract signing for Roman Reigns and LA Knight at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And here comes Roman and Paul and making their big entrance. And they barely get halfway down the aisle when LA Knight music hits. And he walks right past Roman, doesn't even look at him. And then as soon as LA Knight gets in the ring, here comes Paul. He's in the ring. He's rearranging the chairs so that Roman can sit at the head of the table. But as soon as he does that and turns his back, LA Knight sits in Roman's seat. And so, again, everything that Paul's involved in, little details, it's so good. And LA Knight is over like crazy. And Roman is, not only the biggest box office traction regular in the business today. If The Rock comes back, he might beat him. But he's not only auditioning for Hollywood, he's doing a good job of it, isn't he? I mean, he's a level above everybody with reactions and facial expressions and any kind of portraying himself as an potential budding action movie hero, whatever. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I think we've said it before. He's really good in this role, but I don't know if he'll ever get a role this good ever again. He's been that good in this role.
But why couldn't somebody in Hollywood say, well, either there is an existing superhero that we'd like to fucking cast, or look at this fucking guy. Can't we Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger his ass? Because movie stars don't look like that anymore. Talk about the wrestlers looking like a bunch of scrawny little fucking pipsqueaks. The goddamn movie stars don't look a lot better, most of them these days. So you can do something with this fucking guy. Anyway.
What name does he use?
Well, that would be interesting because obviously they've got his name copyrighted. But again, Dwayne Johnson was Dwayne Johnson and became The Rock again. WWE, Endeavor, Big Time Hollywood. They all want to work together at some point. They could probably work these things out. Because well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if the new owners, Endeavor, for however long they own it, are so wrapped up in Hollywood and all entertainment, and they got that big flywheel, wouldn't it be as valuable to them to call, what the fuck his real name is, I can't even remember, him Roman Reigns?
Joe Anoa'i, I think.
Okay, well, there you go. You want Joe Anoa'i or you want Roman Reigns? For either side, it means money for both. I'm sure they could work that out. Vince didn't own the movie studios when The Rock left him to go to Hollywood. But then he became such a big star anyway that Vince got value out of having The Rock be the biggest movie star in the world.
Until The Rock got tired of that and then just started calling himself Dwayne Johnson. And then when Vince finally lost the leverage, somehow he got the right to use The Rock back.
There you go. But nevertheless, so Nick Aldis was presiding over this, and it was great. LA Knight was cocky. Roman was condescending. Have you ever even had a title match before? Have you ever done a contract signing? That kind of stuff. But then they both signed the contracts, and Aldis, I like him being this prickish fellow, and I'm interested to see where it goes, but he says, okay, my job's done, and he just gets out of the ring and leaves the talent to sit there. Okay, are we done here? And LA tells Roman, I'm on a first name basis with him, to acknowledge him and cut a real good promo on their match, trying to sell their match. Imagine that. Instead of trying to shoot about somebody he's pissed at in real life or do a double meaning promo for the wrestling websites, he tried to sell tickets for his main event he's involved in. And then Roman turned the table over on him and kicked the shit out of him. And I swear to God, they can't even in the goddamn promo segments and the angles and the contract signings, he just turned a table over on him. Then he gets out of the ring and pulls out another table from the goddamn underneath the ring. And he pulls it out. It's right next to the table that he just turned over on him and threw out of the ring.
You know what was nice, though? When he pulled out the table, you didn't hear anyone chanting, "We want tables," or popping for it. They were booing it. They didn't want to see it.
And even if they weren't booing in the arena, we don't know. They were smart enough to pipe in boos. And then that's where he's taken time to set it up. And I thought at that point, that's where the whole thing went flat because they got to play with the furniture. And then, shock, LA Knight makes a comeback while Roman has wasted his time setting up a table out on the floor next to the table that he just dumped out of the fucking ring. And then Jimmy Uso comes in and stops LA Knight so Roman can roll out. And then LA Knight puts Jimmy through the fucking table. And scene. So I'm with it. I was with it the whole way until he turned the table over on LA Knight and kicked the shit out of him. That's great. And then why couldn't he just goddamn slip on a banana peel and let LA Knight start to make it? But here's Jimmy. And then Roman can roll out. And then Jimmy can goddamn try to do something, and LA Knight can hit his finish on him or even throw him over the ropes through a table. But they've got to even stop the momentum of the angles while they got you hooked as a TV viewer to fool with the fucking furniture. Your thoughts?
Unfortunately, that's a part of modern wrestling that we have to accept until some brave soul changes it. But it was nice to know that the fans didn't just automatically pop because a table would be involved. The fact that the heel was going to use the table on the babyface caused them to not pop for it.
The AEW crowd would cheer Jack the Ripper when he pulled out his blade.
The AEW fans would have been chanting, "We want tables," as soon as they saw the table. So it was nice for that. And they're putting LA Knight up there with the main event people, and it's working. The fans are still popping big for him. He's working the room really well. They do his yeah for him when he doesn't do it. This was really good.
Well, and as a matter of fact, at one point here, he gave him a line that they would have said yeah for, but he held his hand up real quick and he said, "Not yet." I'll tell you.
That's right.
So he's a conductor.